tested.
This is Norm from Tested.com, and this is a segment of What's in Your Bag. All right, today we have our friend Gary Whitta. Tell us about your bag. This bag looks kind of familiar.
This is Eli's bag from the Book of Eli. I got a couple of souvenirs and little things from the movie, and I have the bag here. And you know, in the movie, he stuffed it with a lot of stuff, and I've been fortunate enough that I don't have to put quite so much stuff in it. Although he did have an iPod, and as an Apple fanboy, I couldn't resist putting at least one Apple product in there, right? So. There it is. I got this bag. This was originally as a laptop bag because I have a MacBook Pro, and that was when I travel, when I'm mobile, that's my computing thing. And it has a nice little laptop space in it and room for everything else as well, all your accessories and stuff. But it's been slimmed down quite a bit lately. I only carry a couple of things around in it anymore. I got my, of course, ubiquitous,
the iPhone.
must-have iPhone 3GS.
3GS, of course.
Gotta have it. Although after today, it's already starting to feel a little bit like yesterday's news.
iPhone OS 4.0.
Until they update the OS, I'm suddenly like, what is this thing?
It's a free upgrade.
It doesn't multitask.
You might have to pay for it, but it's a...
Not on the iPhone you won't, but yeah, this is, I'm already feeling like this is kind of old, but this is my phone, this is my standby. And then, so my bag, I used to carry, like I said, a whole bunch of, I used to be, you know, the ubiquitous kind of, you know, high-tech road warrior.
Is there a King James Bible in there?
There's no, well, technically there is. But I had, my laptop used to sit in this pocket, and I used to have my, all kind of other power cables and all kinds of good stuff. And it used to be fairly luggy. And now, as you can see,
there's
it's
nothing
almost
in there.
Completely empty.
There's nothing in there.
There's nothing up my sleeves, nothing in the bag, except, the iPad.
So you're telling me the iPad is the only,
this is it now.
only piece of technology you have
when I travel, when I go on the road, this is it. If
How
Eli
is that
had
possible?
one of these, the journey would have been so much easier, I can tell you, than that crappy third generation iPod that he was stuck with.
Yeah, he would have had, 10 plus hours of battery life.
So, despite the sentimental attachment I have to this bag, I think I'm going to have to, this is just going to be for other kinds of trips now. This is not my road warrior bag anymore because I just don't need all this space. I'm going to have to get, as much as I hate to say it, a man purse.
Well, you're
Because
European, so you should be familiar with that.
It's a European carry-all. Right? That's what they call it. Or a messenger bag or a DJ bag. I think it's kind of funny that they have to come up with all these different names now because man purse is just not acceptable. You call it a DJ bag. Oh, that's kind of cool. But this is it. This is all I carry. This does everything I want. Now, see, this is the thing. There's been some controversy about whether or not this actually replaces anything or if it's just an additional thing that you have. Like, okay, well, it's not a phone. It's too big to be a phone even if it was. And it's not as powerful as a laptop. So does it kind of exist in this weird place in between? So I've read a lot of reviews. I was actually just reading the Anantech review today. Was saying the problem with this thing is it doesn't actually replace anything. I think that's true if you are a true tech road warrior type guy. When you're mobile, you're doing web publishing and Photoshop, and you've got to be, fully plugged in all the time to your digital life. If that's the case, yes, you should be carrying a MacBook or a PC or at least a netbook around with you. For me, though, I'm actually kind of low power. All I really do when I go on the road, on business trips or traveling, vacations, whatever, is I want my email, I want my webs, I want Facebook and basic stuff like that. I want some games, I want some videos and my music. And so there isn't really anything I've figured out so far that I need when I'm on the road that this doesn't do perfectly well. The only thing that has kind of been a bit on the bubble about is, can I actually do some work on it? Right. So this is what people have been saying, can I actually do productivity on it? And I guess depending on your occupation, maybe not. It's really going to depend on you. For me, all I do,
Screenwriter.
I just need to write. There is actually Final Draft, which is kind of the screenwriting program that most people use, are coming out with an iPhone or an iPad app. So you could actually write a whole screenplay on this thing if you chose to. For me right now, when I go on the road, I like to write, I like to carry outlines and, I like to scribble down notes and stuff like that. So I'm actually curious about whether or not I even need to get pages. I may just use the little note. I love the way they make it look like a little legal pad. I can just scribble down on this. And I've been playing around with this keyboard is fine. That's a lot more doable. I haven't really, portrait typing I wouldn't recommend. Landscape typing actually works pretty good. But what you really want to do is plug a real keyboard into it. So, the magic of this thing is, let's see, this is the Apple case, which is a bit cheap and nasty, but does actually work pretty good in that
type
configuration.
right
And
on
now
it.
you can type, which is kind of magical. But
Where
you
the
know,
magic happens.
Again, it is still a virtual keyboard, and is that really what you want to be relying on? But I did hook up a Bluetooth keyboard to it, which again will fit in my bag, and I can carry that around when I want to do real typing. Or I'm going to look into the keyboard dock as well, which is probably like the most compact solution for actually turning this into a true mini computer with a real keyboard and not taking up too much space.
So would you bring the keyboard with you on the road? Would you put that in your new man bag?
It would depend what I would use it for. I think if I'm going on a trip where I know I'm going to have to do some real writing, or if I'm going to be away for an extended period, the virtual keyboard, as much as I've been a proponent for it on the iPhone and on the iPad, I mean, I've got pretty good with the keyboard now, and the error correction is really, really good. If I'm going to do serious amounts of writing, the virtual keyboard does get a bit fumbly after a while, and if I'm just going to go away for a couple of days and I don't expect to do much other than like peck out some email responses or a couple of Facebook updates, I am on my iPad on the beach, lol, then I can peck that on the virtual keyboard. If I know I'm going to be writing up, like if I'm going to be in a big meeting and I've got like pages of notes that I need to type up, then I would probably bring a real keyboard with me.
So how much money would you say you spent on apps? Like, rough estimate.
So far, what's interesting is a lot of the best apps are the free ones.
All right.
Like the
not too
ABC
much.
Player, like Netflix.
Give me one number.
The most expensive I paid for any one app is I paid $10 for Plants vs. Zombies. And it may actually be the best $10 I've ever spent in my life. My girlfriend is hooked on it when it was on the Mac. I was like, this kind of looks like a silly game. I'm not really into casual gaming. And then I downloaded it for this, and it's actually, I think, the best version of it because the touchscreen is just so perfectly suited to it. What else did I actually pay real money for? Flight Control HD, I paid $5 for. I probably paid less than $20 for apps so far. A, because there's not really a lot out there that you would really want. A lot of the apps I think are still in the works. And also because, like I said, a lot of the most interesting ones, like Netflix, like the ABC Player, like Weather Channel, TweetDeck, which is my Twitter application of choice. And one of the things I really like to do is read the news. I don't know why, I just like reading the news when I'm out and about. And the BBC News, the New York Times Editor's Choice, the USA Today app. The USA Today app in particular is brilliant. I don't know what it is. You really are just reading kind of a fancy version of the website. But the way that it's configured is such that it doesn't feel like a website anymore. It feels like you are reading like an electronic newspaper. It feels different to our website. It feels like a different experience. The stuff is updating as you read it. And it's weird because, as a tech person, I know that it's not doing anything more magical. Intellectually, I know it's not doing anything more magical than a web page. But there's something about this presentation and the form factor that I feel like I'm in Minority Report all of a sudden. Oh my God, look, they updated the page right in front of me. So Apple have been very, very smart about finding a way to update the wow factor of mobile computing, when really all it is just, basically a very simple web device. But presentation, I think, people are starting to see is everything. So
if I say you love the iPad.
I love the iPad. I'm completely hooked on it. Since I got it, my MacBook, which is usually my couch. So I spend a lot of time on the couch, or before I go to sleep at night, I like to play around on the computer and see what's going on, play some games, do whatever. And that's always been my MacBook. But it's kind of heavy and cumbersome, and now it's just this. You can carry it around, sit on the toilet, do what you want with it. Put it on the nightstand, go to sleep, wake up in the morning, what's going on in the world? Oh, it's right there. It's just great.
All right. So there you have it. Gary Whitta. His bag, he travels light.
My sad empty bag.
iPad, iPhone, and a lot of ideas.
A couple of pens, which I don't even have anything to write on, but it's nice to have in an emergency.
All right. Well, thanks. Thanks for
All
coming
right,
by.
thank
Thanks for
you.
coming off.
No problem.
And this is Norman from Tested, signing off.